What's going on, drivers? Welcome to Trucking with Old Snapper. You have Old Snapper here. This is a video from my trip today. Headed to deliver some balers. I got 3 balers back there on a step deck. I apologize for the background noise. I got my heater running, which my APU will kick on to charge the batteries up and all that kind of stuff. And for some dang reason, my mic here will pick that up. Sometimes better than it picks up my own voice for some reason. Now, I made a video about Wylie, and I kind of went into things I like and things I don't like, some things some other drivers told me about their experience. And as you know, everybody's experience can be different. And I wanted to do another one and kind of clarify what they pay, what they give, excuse me, I just burped. All that kind of good stuff, kind of put it all out there, because I didn't get into every little detail of all that kind of stuff. Also, if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. There's a few Wylie drivers that watch, and some of them have been here a few years. They can answer you far better than I can on that stuff. You know, and if one of them helps you out, man, do them a favor. Get their name, put it down on your application. You know, here at Wylie, if we get a driver referral, it pays $2,500. I think it's broke up into payments, and I think you got to stay a certain amount of time. But still, it's a possibility of a driver making an extra $2,500. You know, as y'all know, I try to tell y'all everything, and that's what they pay. So if one of the guys down in the comments works here at Wylie and he helps you out, or girls in the comments, either or, drop their name down in your application. You know, just make them buy you a steak. And if you put my name down on an application, let me know that you did. That way, if I see you, I can buy you a steak, because that's a lot of money, you know, for a referral. I've never worked at a company that paid that high in referrals. Normally $1,000 or $500 is the norm. But here at Wylie, they pay $2,500 for a referral. So let's get into it. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about the last video. You got to remember, things that I don't like won't necessarily be things you don't like. I just try to be as upfront as possible, because I know when I started driving, I followed drivers sometimes to companies. Sometimes I'd have drivers talk to me and it would sound really great. Then I'd get there and I'd find all the things they didn't tell me. And of course I wouldn't stay. You know, I mean, you got to look at it. You can change companies out here in the time it takes to do a 34-hour reset. So if a company is not what you're expecting, you're not going to stay. If a driver lied to you, you're not going to stay. You know, it's too easy. There's 5,000 companies out here and all of them are hiring. You know, so it's really easy to change companies if things aren't right. And I know how I felt whenever I took off and went to a company and it turned out not to be what I thought it was. So I try not to do that to everybody else. You can go back and look at videos I made on Crete. I think I had one called Bad Days at Crete, you know, where I talked about being stuck on the Walmart fleet, not making no money. I tried to put it all out there. I put my pay stubs out there. If you look in the last video, towards the end, it has my pay stubs. And granted, I've only been here, you know, 2 months, but it has some of my pay stubs in there. I put some good weeks in there and some bad weeks in there, you know, so I just try to be upfront as possible, you know. But like I said, I'm still learning Wylie. I'm still learning the process here. I'm still getting used to them. They're still getting used to me. I can say one thing. All of the drivers I've met here have been really friendly, really helpful, you know, which I find really unusual, because normally you're going to have some assholes in the mix. And no, they've all been really friendly and really helpful. I know at one place I was tarping a load. I think it was my second or third load. And the driver next to me, you know, he came over and BS with me. And, you know, he even brought me a 4-inch ratchet strap, because I was short one and I needed another one. You know, and he even came back inside after he was done doing what he was doing and helped me button up my tarps. I already had the tarps on or stretched out. I was just buttoning them up. You know, flatbedders are a different breed. We tend to help each other. It's just a whole different breed. Now, flatbedders all have their own way of securing loads, their own way of tarping loads. I mean, believe it or not, there's a ton of different ways to do it. There's a ton of different ways to fold a tarp. And we've all got our own little niche, what we're used to doing. But I always try to take advice. Drivers walk up and say, man, I wouldn't do it that way. I always try to do it this way. And then sometimes I'll ask them why. And they'll explain, hey, this is why I do it like that. And if it makes sense and it's faster, hey, I'm all for it. Because that's the key, is getting faster. Faster you get, the more money you can make. And that's basically it. But anyhow, let's get into Wylie here. If you come to Wylie, when they first start, they start between 60 and 65 cents a mile. And that's going to depend on how much flatbed experience you have. If you don't have any, the lowest pay you're going to start at is 60 cents. If you got a little bit, it'll range up through there. I don't know. I started at 65, but I got a lot of flatbed experience. I don't know how many years, though, it takes for that max, for the 65 cent. Now, every 100,000 miles, if you haven't had an accident and stuff like that, then you get a raise. It's a penny, I believe, up to 69 cents if you stay on the flatbed fleet. If you go to hauling glass, I think it gets a little higher than that. And if you haul RGN, I think it gets a little higher than that. But on a regular flatbed, it'll run you up to 69 cents. So for the next 400,000 miles, you're going to get a penny every 100,000 miles if you meet the standards. They also have a bonus here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really pay attention to the bonus. Don't like the bonus, the way they have it set up, but it is here. I haven't even asked if drivers are getting it. Don't know if anyone's getting it or not. But the way the bonus works is they figure up a certain amount of miles. They want you to average 430 miles per day, per business day, per month. And if you do 1,000 miles or more over that, well, then you get a bonus. I haven't had one, so I couldn't tell you how much they are. I think it's a penny a mile or something like that. Maybe one of these other Wylie drivers will drop down in the comments and break it on down for you exactly how it works. I don't care for it because I'm going to run whatever they give me. So if my miles are short, that's because that's what that was given to me that month. If my miles are over, that's because that was what was given to me that month, especially in a forced dispatch system. It ain't like I'm turning loads down, because I can't. So my miles are going to be whatever they gave me. So a bonus that runs like that, I just don't pay much attention to it. Now, if it was a fuel bonus or something like that, or idle bonus, some companies, if you keep your idle time down, now that's something that's within my control, and I pay a lot more attention to that. But anyhow, that's the skinny on that. You do not have to have flatbed experience to come here, but you do have to have driving experience. It's not a driver training company. They do have a class, they do teach it, and they do offer that. So if they hire you with no flatbed experience, they are going to teach you that stuff in their class and orientation. They do have trainers here. I don't know who they send out with trainers, because like I said, we don't train new people straight out of school. As far as I know, we don't. So maybe if you need a little extra help, maybe that's something they do, and maybe that's why they have trainers. Not sure. I'm not a trainer here, so don't have a clue. Again, one of them other Wylie drivers hop down in the comments. They'll explain that, why there are trainers here. They pay $75 tarp pay. If you end up splitting a load, let's say you tarp it and you repower it, relay it, split it, whatever you want to call it. Different companies have different names for that. Here they call it splitting a load. You'll get half of the tarp pay, which is $35. The other driver will get the other half, because they got to take the tarps off, roll them up, put them up, all that kind of stuff. So, but it's $75 for tarping is what it is. They do have layover pay if you get stuck somewhere and it's not your fault. So they do pay that, and I have gotten it, so I know they do pay that. They do have detention pay, and I have gotten that, so I do know they do pay detention pay. I know at a lot of companies, detention pay is like one of the things you hear about, but you never get. Here, they actually do that. They do take care of their drivers when it comes to that. Their primary freight area is east of I-35, but they do go everywhere. I've been to Washington, I've been to Oregon, I've been to Idaho. I haven't been to California with this company yet. I haven't been down in the Southwest with them yet, but I do know a couple of the other drivers that I went through orientation with have. They've been down in that area. One of the guys I talk to on a regular basis, he's just now coming out of California, as a matter of fact. They do run the Northeast. They do have loads going to New York City. New York City is not forced, though, from what I understand. And on the last video, one of the other Wylie drivers commented, and he said California wasn't forced either. Now, I didn't hear that when I went through orientation. When I went through orientation, all I remember them saying was New York City wasn't forced, and oversized loads are not forced. So if you don't feel comfortable running an oversized load, you don't have to. I should have took notes before doing this video. Not sure if I talked about this yet, but Wylie has a $2,500 sign-on bonus. They pay recruiting bonuses of $2,500. They also pay a $2,500 sign-on bonus. And they break it up into payments. So when you finish orientation, you're going to get $1,000. And then you'll also get $1,000 in orientation pay. So your first check's going to be $2,000. And then I think it's 60 days, they give you another $750. And then at 6 months, they give you another $750. That's the way that works on your recruitment bonus. On your sign-on bonus, not recruitment bonus. Also, they give guaranteed pay for the first 3 weeks. So you're coming out of orientation, you're trying to get used to their freight, you're trying to get used to their system, you're trying to get in a lane and get moving. Don't worry about it if your pay is short. They have guaranteed pay for the first 3 weeks. They're going to cover you. And they did me. I think my first week and third week, I think were short. And they covered it. They made up the difference. So they do that. They do what they say they're going to do. So you have that. We do have these AI cameras, or whatever you want to call them. If you're speeding, it'll tell you to slow down. If you don't have your seatbelt on, and it even does it if you're in a parking lot. I think it's like 4 miles an hour or 6 miles an hour, something like that is when it'll tell you. Because sometimes in a parking lot, if I just got loaded, I'll pull off to the side and do whatever I need to do, get everything situated before I hit the road. And I've moved like that without my seatbelt on, just pulling off to the side, and that camera will tell you to put your seatbelt on. Now, there is no inward-facing camera unless you get in trouble. I don't know what all will lead you to having an inward-facing camera. But I do know if you get caught on your cell phone, you get a cell phone ticket, you're going to have an inward-facing camera. Some drivers say it's 9 months. I heard in orientation 10, but it's something like that. Somewhere between 9 and 10 months. And the way the camera's set up, I put a picture of it in the last video, is it's outward facing and it's got a cover over the inward facing camera. So if at any point in time they think you're driving around distracted, not paying attention, they're going to put you on probation and they're going to tell you to uncover that camera so that they can see you. And it is an AI camera. So just keep that in mind. Trucks are governed at 65 miles an hour. Most of them are automatics. There are some manuals, but not very many from what I understand. I wanted a manual when I got here, but they just didn't have any. I ended up in an automatic, and I'm fine with that. They do have APUs on them. They have SPAR bunk heaters, the refrigerator, closet, all that kind of stuff set up, normal Peterbilt style. Has an enclosed rack in the back. Also has a ladder, and it's a pretty cool ladder. I need to oil mine, by the way, but it is a pretty cool ladder. It's very handy, and every truck comes with one. Trucks are at 65 miles per hour, and that's on the foot or on the cruise, doesn't matter. It's 65 miles an hour. And there is a certain speed at which the camera will tell you to slow down. I haven't hit it, so I don't know what it is. I think it's over 70 or 75 or something like that. Also, if you're speeding, that camera will tell you you're speeding to slow down. So you got to watch your speed. You got to watch where you're at. You got to pay attention to be on top of the ball. So there's nothing wrong with that. That part don't bother me. My GPS that I have will tell me if I'm speeding. So I'm used to that, and I don't mind it. I talked a little bit about orientation in the last video. Orientation is from Monday through Friday. It's going to start early in the morning. I think it's like 6:30 in the morning, 6:45 in the morning. And each day is different. Normally you're done by 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock. We had one day that was a little bit longer, I think, than the others. But they're going to go through company policy. They're going to go through safety. You're going to meet everybody within the company. They come and have lunch with you every day. You're going to go over securement. They've got different things for you to practice on out there. They're going to go over tarping. They're going to go over everything. And it's all indoors. Orientation is in Fargo, North Dakota. They also have a terminal down in the Carolinas, which I haven't been to yet. But the main office is Fargo, North Dakota, and that's where everybody goes for orientation. And it's 5 days long. The hotel's going to have breakfast, which, by the way, had one of the best breakfasts I've ever had at any hotel. It's a La Quinta, but they got a really nice breakfast in there. They're going to give you an EFS check so you can get you a Cashapp one day, and that's to help you pay for your lunches. Or your dinners, not your lunches, your dinners. And then they're going to provide lunch for you up there in orientation every day. And the lunches there are pretty good. They're not too bad. I think the first day we had to select all the things we wanted throughout the week. So definitely be paying attention to that, because whatever you select, you pick everything you're going to eat for lunch throughout the week. So keep that in mind. They have a couple different fleets here. They have an RGN fleet, but from what I understand, you have to live in the Midwest to be on that fleet. They have a glass fleet. They do, I think, have Canada freight. I don't go to Canada. I can't go to Canada, so I didn't really pay much attention to that. But I do think they have some Canada freight. They have an SSD fleet, which pretty much you're married to the trailer. It's got these slits you can pull out so they can drop equipment down a little bit lower, keep from it being oversized. And then, of course, regular flatbed step deck, or a low pro step deck, as I call them. So there's a good mix of different things you can get into while you're here. If you're looking into getting into a little bit bigger stuff, maybe running equipment more rather than so much of that, what I call trash loads, lumber. We do haul lumber here, but not as much as some other companies do. Sheetrock, we do haul sheetrock here, but not as much as some other companies do. I call those trash loads, cheap loads. I prefer equipment. It's my favorite thing to haul. I love hauling equipment, and I try to stay to flatbed companies that haul a lot of equipment, because that's what I enjoy hauling. And they haul a lot of equipment here. The way home time works is you get 1.5 days for every 7 days out. You can build them up. And if I remember correctly, in orientation, they said you can take up to 2 weeks off without emptying your truck out. If you're going to take more than 2 weeks, then they want you to empty your truck out. Not that you're fired or anything like that. It's just they need it available or something like that. But you can take up to 2 weeks. You can take your truck and trailer home, and that's no problem. I've already taken home time. I took my truck and trailer home. Wasn't a problem at all. They want you to put your day going home the day before, and then your day coming back the day after. That way you get all of your home time. So if you got 6 days coming, and you're going to take off on the 10th and come back on the 16th, you'll actually put your home day on the 9th, and your coming back day on the 17th. That's the way it works. And they didn't bother me while I was at home. I really enjoyed that as well. I think I talked about this in my other video. They'll either fly you to orientation or rent you a car. They're also going to send you money for gas and all that stuff. So you don't have anything to worry about coming here. It's all covered. Plus, you're guaranteed you're going to make money, a couple grand that first week. So it makes the transition into EW Wylie pretty smooth. And their process for getting you here is really smooth as well. Well, I think that about covers the gist of things to know about Wylie. Like I said, if one of the guys in the comments helps you, man, just put them down. Put them down on your application. It helps them out financially. Just let them know that you want a steak, or you want a dinner out of it, whatever your favorite meal is. If you put me down, make sure you let me know. That way I know, and then when you get here, you know, when I run into you, because it's a small company, there's only 600 trucks here, 615 trucks here. So when I run into you, that way I can say, hey man, this guy, I can shake your hand and buy you a steak or whatever you want to eat myself. Because, I mean, $2,500 is a heck of a paycheck for somebody coming to the company. And that's being straight up. That's what they pay. But you don't have to put me down. I'll still help you, still gladly shake your hand. And it'd be nice to meet people that come over from watching the video. So it ain't like you got to put me down. But y'all take care, stay safe, stay out of trouble. Remember, we are all family out here, even if we are a little bit dysfunctional. And keep trucking, drivers.